His friend Baebius mature. I am pleased that you are repeatedly reading the works of my uncle with such care that you wish to possess all of them, and you ask for the titles. I shall perform the role of an index, and I shall also inform you of the role of the order in which the books were written, for this too is knowledge which scholars are pleased to have. One book on throwing, one book on throwing the javelin for horseback. He got this, whose serving as a purveyor of cavalry, devoting to it ingenuity and can call in equal measure. Two books on the life of Pomponius Secundus. My uncle was held in unique affection by this man, so he wrote this work as a tribute out to the memory of a friend. 20 books on the wars in Germany. In this he assembled all the wars which we have waged against the Germans. He embarked on this when he was soldiering in Germany. He was prompted by a dream in which, as he lay asleep, there stood before him the ghost of Nero Drusus, who after victories over a huge area of Germany died there. He entrusted his memory to my uncle and pleaded with him to deliver him from the injustice of oblivion. The three books on education. He divided this work into six roles because of its length. In it, he educates the orator from the cradle and completes his training. 8 books on ambiguity. He wrote this in Nero's last years, when slavery has made hazardous every sort of writing which inclined to some independence or nobility of thought. 31 books continuing when Aufidius Bassus left off. 37 on natural history. This a work both extensive and learned were no less varied than NATO herself. Surprised that such a busy man completed so many volumes, many of them so detailed. The surprise will be greater if you know that for a period he pleaded in the courts, that he died in his 56th year, and that his middle years were preoccupied and hindered by duties of the greatest importance, and also by his friendships and with emperors. But he had a keen intelligence, astonishing concentration, and little need for sleep. For the time of the Vulcania, he would begin work by lamplight, not to take the auspices, but to start studying at once while it was fully rank, in winter from the 7th or at least the 8th hour, and often from the 6th. True, he fell asleep very readily. On occasion sleep would overcome and leave him as he walked at his works. He would make his way before dawn to the Vespasian, for that emperor likewise employed the house of darkness, and after that to the post allotted to him. On returning home, he would devote the rest of the day to his studies. After a snack, like the man of old during the way, he would eat sparingly and informally. He would often be in summer spent and leisure time lying in the sun. A book would be read, and he would make notes and take accepts, for there was no book which he read without accepting it. He used to say that there was no book so bad that it was not useful at some point. After sunbathing, he would often bathe in cold water. Then, after a light lunch, he slept for a very few minutes. After that, as if a new day had dawned, he worked at his books till dinner time. Over dinner, a book was read on which he took notes at great speed. I recall that once, when the reader mispronounced some words, one of my uncle's friends made him go back and forced him to go over them again. And my uncle said to him, "But surely you understood." When his friend agreed, my uncle said, "So why did you order him back? We have lost 10 lines and more to your interruption." Such economy he exercised with regard to time. In the summer he would quit the dinner table while it was still light, and in winter during the first hour of darkness it was as though some law had laid it down. This was the pattern of his life when in the midst of his labors and the bustle of the city. In retirement only, the time for the bath reflected him from his studies. When I say the bath, I mean when he was in the water, When he was being scraped and towelled, he was either listening to or dictating something. When on a journey, as though freed from other preoccupations, he devoted himself solely to study. His secretary sat by him with a book and writing tablets. In winter his hands were shielded with gauntlets, so that not even the harsh temperatures should deprive him of any time for study. For this reason, even when in Rome he was confined in a chair. I recall his rebuke to me. For walking, you could, he said, have avoided wasting those hours, for he believed that any time not devoted to study was wasted. It was through such concentration that he completed those numerous volumes, and also bequeathed to me 160 notebooks of selected excerpts written on both sides of the paper in the tiny script, so that when you take this into an account, the number is multiplied. He himself used to say that when he was procurator in Spain, he could have sold those notebooks to Larcius Licinus for one for for 40 Larcius Licinus for 400,000 sesterces, and at the time they were somewhat fewer. When you recall the volume of his reading and writing, you would surely imagine that he had never had any public offices, nor been a friend of the emperor. Again, when you hear the amount of toil which he devoted to his studies, that he did not read or write enough. For what could those busy duties not have hindered, and what could such concentration not have achieved? This is why I often smile when people call me an earnest student, for by comparison with him I am the laziest creature alive. But is it just me? For I am distracted partly by official duties and partly with services to friends. Which one of those who spend their whole lives on literature, when compared with my uncle, would not blush at appearing to devote themselves to sleep and idleness? I have prolonged my letter, though I had planned to pen only what you were seeking, namely what books he had left. I am sure that this additional information will please you no less than the books themselves, for this can move you not merely to read the books, but also by the god of imitation to work away at something similar. Farewell.